Howdy, howdy. How we doing? It's showtime in Bahrain. Oh yeah. Oh, I need to quickly check some. Macarena, la noche arriba to my friend. The kiss of it all. I don't want him. Can't stand him. So, new season, new dawn over the horizon. We've only got one season left until the big shift in the regs. Until we have no more DRS. Until we have an all new overhaul of the aero package, of the battery system, of the air, of just everything in general in Formula One. Life in these regulations hasn't been the most exhilarating. I think it's safe to say, Formula One has been underwhelming since we had the ground-effect era of cars. But one thing that never disappointed in terms of action is sim racing. Sim racing has always been a pinnacle to watch some action. Although in recent times the games haven't been the greatest. I think it's safe to say ever since we had to say goodbye to F1 23. F1 24 brought action, but it didn't bring excitement. It didn't bring joy. The handling was iffy. But then we went to F1 25 with major hopes, in the hope that maybe we reverted back to the old handling. We started in a sense, yes we did, but it still wasn't as promising as people had expected. The career modes had a complete overhaul, which made the offline side of things a lot more fun, but the online side of things have been iffy. We've had flicking, we've had wheel flicking, we've had transitions of how much you can deploy your battery. You had dirty air added in, which has arguably killed the whole like momentum really of league racing. League racing you're meant to be able to follow close, but now that's near on impossible. 23 is just go in exactly. 23 arguably the greatest game that the sport had ever seen, but it all just comes down to how they develop. Down the main straight to begin our first lap of qualifying here. Where's the kick Sauber in towards turn 1 of MB. Through turn 1 under the braking, get the apex nicely. Then on the power, out through turn number 2. And then climbing the hill through 3 on the rundown towards turn number 4. One of the most favourite overtaking spots. Many duels have happened up here. The most recent one I could properly remember was Verstappen v Antonelli, when Antonelli did the old switcheroo on Verstappen at the top of the hill here. It's a 28.9 at come at the end of the first sector in the first qualifying lap in the final season of these regulations. MB will climb the hill towards the downhill double left-hander of 9 and 10. Full braking, ease off the brakes to make sure you don't lock up the front tyres, and then stand on the power, get on the overtake on the rundown towards turn number 11. And we've got new drivers, new grids. I think no idea who's just joined there, to be honest, but I saw someone has joined, no idea who. Through 11, then up through the hill of turn 12, then over the slight crest, then downhill momentarily through turn 13, then down the back straight towards the final 2 corners, although drivers mostly say this is just one corner. Turn 14, the final braking zone, then the slight little kink of turn number 15, up and around the final corner and towards the start-finish line. The first lap of qualifying is going to be a 1 minute 29 3:57 roll on the rest of the competitors as Lewis out of the final corner towards the line. The Racing Bulls driver in the plain Racing Bulls crosses the line, goes fast overall to 29.0. Then it'll be Craig Connolly up next as shows off the track. Craig Connolly goes fastest at a 28.7. Then it'll be Kimi Antonelli over the line with Kimi, and he goes up into a 28.9. And it'll be D. Sommers in the Aston Martin crossing the line. He goes up into 4th, and the Haas behind just beginning a lap, and then it will be the Alpine. I think that's just Arrow on his outlap. Then it'll be the Kick Sauber of Nuki Boy also on a outlap as well. And what about the second Aston Martin of Ollie Bean through 12 towards turn number 13? If you'll just join us, we're here for the opener of Season 7 in Tier 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We've seen a lot of season openers here in Bahrain, and we're back here once more. Ollie Bean, no battery left in that Aston Martin, up and around the final corner towards the line, and the green machine, can he go to the top of the times and go somewhere where probably Aston won't see a lot of this year in 2026? He goes up into P2, then it will be Raheem, I think, coming towards the line. Raheem in the Williams goes up into P7. The slowest time we've seen so far is Invade to the top of the times by 0.4 of a second. The Silver Arrow or Sci-Fi, 1 minute 30.098. DZ Racer then to the top with a 28.195. Scones, I believe, just starting a lap now as well. And SK1 climbs the hill through turn 12 towards turn number 13. We go at the end of the middle sector. What's the game saying? The game not saying purple. That's through turn 13 down towards turn 14. SK1 F33 in the Haas, his teammate, currently on that front row, and these two, DZ Racer and Invade, look to be set to fight for pole position. They seem to be a country ahead of the rest as SK1 comes up towards the line, and SK1 can cross the line and join his teammate in the top 3 to put 2 Haas cars in the top 3 as I think that's the MB, I believe, starting another lap as the Racing Bulls or Sunzay begins another lap as well. And what about Nuki Boy in the green, in the other green machine, the green wheelie bin as people love to call it, coming towards the line, and the Kick Sauber man will come over the line and he goes into P9, couple hundreds or so ahead of his teammate. I think Arrow has bailed out of his first hurrah here, yeah, making sure he gets out of the way of a very slow moving Aston Martin, as Sci-Fi there currently slows overall by 7/10 away from the times we have seen so far here in qualifying for the Mercedes team. I do like that helmet. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. I do like that helmet though. As we will watch Scones coming around the final corner. The man who won this season opener 1 season ago in China in an action-packed race. Scones over the line, goes slowest overall with a 30.342. What about the Kick Sauber drivers? MB 4/10 up, currently looking for maybe go ahead of Kimi in the Red Bull as MB powers down the back straight down towards turn number 14 and 15. Plenty of battery there. Could have probably really drained the battery all the way down to that corner, because you're probably going to finish the lap with a bit extra battery as towards the line we go. With the Kick Sauber man crossing the line. Yeah, he's saved really 4-5% there, which really you could have used, as Sunzay will come across the line and goes first slowest with a 29.905. As SK1 gone on for another lap, he will be going on for another lap now, as I believe Nuki Boy on his in lab. WHF Arrow in the not the Scarlet Ferrari, in the Alpine. It isn't him though. It's Godzilla, his teammate, as the Kick Sauber Nuki Boy comes over towards the line. What about Raheem then? Raheem not improving on his time set so far, as Arrow is still not pushing on. So the next round will be maybe Sunzay, who is 1.2 seconds down. Where is the other Racing Bull? They're on that outlap. Then maybe will the Kick Sauber head maybe be on a lap? I don't think so, no. So then the SK1, who is on a lap, I think. No, they have actually aborted their set lap time. Their teammate is out on track as well. We will watch now Arrow to, I think, the beginner laps, as Godzilla, sorry, is on a lap through turn number 4 and then towards turn number 5, and then turn number 6 as Arrow peels into pit lane. Godzilla through 6, through 7 towards the hairpin of turn number 8. The Alpine, arguably the best onboard in the game. I'm not going to say arguably, it is the best onboard on the game, as we climb the hill towards the downhill double left of turn number 9 and turn number 10. Sound of the power on the extra 10. Very, very, very minor toe, but I doubt I actually do anything there as we go down the back straight towards turn number 11. The Alpine driver with number 70 on that French outfit up the hill through turn 12 towards turn 13, end of the middle sector. The game saying purple. How much do you want to believe the game though? Godzilla make their way down the back straight towards turn 14 and turn number 15, and the Alpine looking to set their first lap of qualifying with 8:50 to go up and around the final corner. Plenty of battery to the line. As to the line we go. With the Alpine driver crossing the line now, and he goes up into third as Invade begins another lap here in qualifying. Craig Conley as well beginning another lap here in qualifying. I think Lewis as well on another lap. 2.5 tenths up at the end of that middle sector. Is there a Williams on a lap? Maybe Scones pushing on. Scones 7 tenths up as up and around the final corner we go with Scones in the Williams looking to go at least into the top 10 here as this lap crosses the line, only goes into 12th, a couple hundredths away from the times we have seen so far. Lanky is finally out on track. 3 cars yet to set times so far as we watch Lewis now coming towards the final corners of the racetrack. 4.5 tenths up, looking to be half a second up at the end of the lap as we turn on the battery and over the line we go, and he goes into third, found another 3 tenths of a second. Then Lewis can put that Racing Bulls into the top 3. What of Craig Conley? What can Craig do? 6 tenths up in the ballpark for pole position here through turn 13 down towards 14 and 15, and Craig Conley, the American, racing for the Papaya team once more in WHF, comes around the final 2 corners on the racetrack, stands on the power to the line, and the American driver will look to go to the top. He will not go to the top with a 28.349, lost 2 tenths in that final sector as Invade goes to provisional pole position with a 27.984. What of the Mercedes of Sci-Fi? What can Sci-Fi do? No, sorry, I've completely lost it there. As Kimi is up on their time. What about DZ Racer? DZ Racer is 45 milliseconds up on their personal best, but at the minute not good enough for the pole position. As off in the background goes Kimi in the other Red Bull. So one Red Bull butchered their run, the other Red Bull looking to prevail as round 14, round 15, and towards the line we go with DZ Racer crossing the line to go less than a tenth away, 1.5 tenths away from the top of the time as Sci-Fi comes over the line, goes up into 14th. Then it'll be the Alpine, I think, of Arrow beginning a lap. Then it might be a Sunze beginning a lap. Maybe then where's Lanky? Lanky's coming through turn number 9 and turn number 10 as NB is beginning a lap now in qualifying. I think that's just Zunze who is about to begin a lap. Then you've got the Haas of Invade who isn't improving. That's Craig as well in pit lane as Lewis there as he set a time 4 tenths away, 4 tenths off the pace as D Sommers isn't improving on their time. Ollie Bean is up by 83 milliseconds. He needs to find a lot more if he is to take provisional pole position here in Bahrain. But as we go through turn number 14, flat through 15, Ollie, you need to learn to save the battery, my friend. As Ollie Bean in the Aston Martin comes across the line and goes ahead of his teammate into 7th place. What can Lanky in the Mercedes do? As Lanky crosses the line, goes into 6th. 26 milliseconds behind Godzilla, or in the Alpine, as D Sommers exactly 2 seconds down on their delta. As is Kimi maybe pushing on for another lap? I'm not actually too sure. Kimi is sat on overtake, has just gone into AI as the Mercedes of Sci-Fi, luckily not on a lap here in qualifying. The Alpine of Arrow is finally on track to set a valid lap time round the final corner on the racetrack, and WHF Arrow is dropped down to tier 3. Won the season opener, claiming a Ferrari 1-2. Arrow crosses the line, goes up into 3rd for the Alpine crew, and Alpine currently running 3rd and 6th. They'll be over the moon with this as MB, I think. MB crosses the line, goes up into 10th. I was so focused on seeing where he was going to go, I forgot to switch to him. Sunze, the current slowest driver of the ones who have set time so far. Dubsy coming out late once again as Sunze over the line only goes into 13th as the Aston Martin of Ollie Bean not improving their time. I think that's Lanky who is not improving their time. Yeah, 2.2 seconds away and off the pace of the Ferrari. I think it will be Dubsy up next as Sunze, yeah, not pushing. I think it will be Dubsy up next. We could breathe for a minute. We can breathe for a moment. It is currently Invade on pole position provisionally, half a tenth ahead of DZ Racer, and then you've got Arrow who is just over 3 tenths away from the fastest time that we have seen so far. 1 millisecond ahead of Lewis in the Racing Bulls then. Craig Conley in 5th, Godzilla 6th, Lanky in 7th, SK1 in 8th, Ollie in 9th, and MB in 10th, Sommers in 11th, Kimmy in 12th, Sunze in 13th, Nuki 14th, Scones 15th, Raheem 16th, Sci-Fi 17th, and Dub Z, the only driver yet to set a time on the board. The only driver yet to put a time on the board so far. What can you do, Dub Z? Ferrari, who got a 1-2 yesterday at the hands of Arrow and Ansu, will look and ask for answers in Tier 2 to see if they can continue this onslaught of performance here in the opening phases of the season, as Dub Z is the sole Ferrari hope for this race this evening, as up through turn 2, up through turn 3, the Red Bull off, letting the Ferrari through as well as the Sauber. We climb the hill towards turn number 4. We go with Dub Z for 50% battery used already, 50% left, as at the end of the first sector, what's the timing split saying? It's purple according to the game. Through turn 6, through turn 7, downhill towards the hairpin at 8, and Dub Z will be looking to get his Ferrari towards the top of the timing pages, as Dub Z will hope to be able to claim victory in Bahrain. We haven't seen Dub Z on the top in a while. I don't know if we actually have seen him on the top set before. I'm sure we have, but it's been a while since we've heard his name fighting for Grand Prix victories, as the Ferrari comes through turn number 11, now through turn number 12, this right here, and then at the end of the middle sector, does it still say purple? He is matching Arrow's middle sector, so he is currently on par with the Alpine, currently on par for 3rd or 4th, as at the end of the middle sector, level with the others. What about the final sector though, where you can make or break laps? You need to make sure you don't go too wide. The Ferrari coming good once again, but in Bahrain, is it provisional pole for the Ferrari? Lost time in the final sector, a lot of time in that final sector, and he drops down into P9 here, as now we go over to the Williams crew, I think. SK1 actually, sorry. SK1 in the Haas coming towards the line. Over the line as the Haas goes up into 6th, then there'll be the Williams, I believe, backing out on their laps, as Raheem has backed down, and it'll be Scones. Scones up into 15 for the Red Bull. I think Kimmy is not on the lap. But then what about the Racing Bulls of Sunze? Nope, it will be Lewis who is starting their lap. What about the Alpines? They are beginning laps. Lanky. What about Sci-Fi? Sci-Fi coming towards the line. Sci-Fi, I think, is just beginning their final lap in qualifying now. That's invading. What about the Saubers of Nuki Boy? If that is Nuki Boy, he's got a lot of traffic. It isn't Nuki Boy, luckily, as Kimmy is a 10th.5 down on their fastest time so far. That's not really going to get you much. You're probably losing time by jolting back over to the track, as Kimmy coming over the line, and the Red Bull, one Red Bull, sole Red Bull in the bottom half of the field, and he goes up, he improves his time, doesn't improve his position. Well, what about the Haas of SK1? He will begin his final lap in qualifying. The Williams pair of Scones and Raheem. Raheem is a 10th down on his personal best, but invalidates his time, and Williams are 15th and 17th at best. There is a strong chance they start this race from the back of the grid. Ollie Bean, though, he's setting good times, and Ollie Bean in the Aston Martin to the line goes into 3rd position, as now DZ Racer will come towards the line, and the Red Bull driver, can they go to the top? Yes or no? Yes, they can, and it's over to Invade. But we're going to see the Silver Arrows up first. Lanky is 10th.5 up on their time, but we're going to watch Lewis first, as Lewis has actually invalidated their time. What about Arrow? Has backed off on their time, so they're 4th at best. Godzilla is peeling into the box. And then what about Lanky in the Mercedes? A Sci-Fi crosses the line, goes ahead of Raheem to not start last, as Lanky in the Mercedes crosses the line, goes into 7th. Then it'll be the Haas of Invade. Can Invade go to the top? No, he doesn't improve his time. The Sauber of MB goes up into 6th. Then what about Craig Conley? Not improving their time as the Racing Bulls of Sunzay stays 14th. Craig Conley not improving on their time. As Nuki Boy, I think, is the next one on that. Nuki Boy is currently going side by side with Kimmy. As I think that is it for qualifying here in Bahrain. I think it is DZ Racer on pole position for the season opener. Under the lights in Bahrain is DZ Racer, a 10th and a half clear of Invade, and then Ollie Bean. Ollie Bean in the top 3. Hello, my son. He's done just storming lap. Arrow in 4th, the Tier 3 Championship leader in P4. And then Lewis found 1 millisecond behind as MB. It's very close between 3rd, 4th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Oh my god. There is 600 between 4th and 8th, by the way. That's incredible. Oh, why is it that camera? That's not my camera. Please stop. So it is DZ Racer on pole from Invade, Ollie Bean. So the front row is DZ Racer and Invade. Ollie Bean and Arrow take the second row. Lewis and MB third. Third row, Craig and Lanky fourth row. SK and Godzilla fifth row. Dubsy and Summers sixth row. Kimmy and Sensei seventh row. Eighth row goes to Scones and Yuki. And then the ninth row and the back row of the grid goes to Sci-Fi, Mega Hype and Raheem. Starts the season opener plumb last. That's not something we've been used to seeing. Raheem, normally one of the quick ones. But we now await the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Of course, I got an ad. Imagine getting adverts, TJ. How about you shush, huh? How about that one, TJ? What time do we ready up? So, we've had DZ Racer on pole for Tier 2. Once again, here in Bahrain, we are awaiting the start of the Grand Prix. We await the final season of these regulations. We are awaiting a brand new season. We are awaiting the 5 red lights. We are awaiting a whole new era of cars, which will not be coming for some time. We await the start of the final season here in WHF, the final season of the ground effect era cars. It is DZ Racer on pole position ahead of Invade. Red Bull and Haas are on the front row together as we await the 5 red lights for one final time in the ground effect era. 5 lights on. It's 5 lights out, and away we go on the run down towards turn number 1. Seems to be an even start from the top 2. They got away quite evenly. Under pressure now. Invade from the Alpine of Arrow. In towards turn number 1 we go. It's side by side, free abreast through the opening corners of the racetrack. Contact momentarily between the Alpine and the Haas. As side by side they go. Ollie Bean into second. Invade down to third. Arrow stayed in fourth on the rundown towards turn number 4. And Arrow's looking to get involved in battle here. As around at the back goes a Haas of SK1 as well as the Sauber of Nuki Boy. As through turn number 4 we go, and through 5 and turn number 6, and Ollie Bean's on the outside. It's side by side between the second and third, and Ollie Bean almost off the track as Invade back up in the second place, but there is a major gap. It's down the inside goes WF Arrow on the Aston Martin, and Arrow in the tier 3 championship leader is up into third place, side by side through the downhill double left of turn 9 and turn number 10. Round the outside goes Arrow, and into the podium place is almost contact between Lewis and Ollie Bean, almost wheel hooking there. Ollie Bean, who was P2 at the exit of turn 1, is now side by side for P5. Down the inside goes Ollie Bean on Lewis in the Racing Bulls. Lewis does have to back out of it, but now here comes MB round the outside at turn number 12. It will then be the outside for 13, but Lewis late on the brakes on the inside at turn 13, and the battle could almost be over. Then there's a major moment there for the Racing Bulls, and the battles are going to continue towards the end of the lap. Side by side they go between the Racing Bulls and the Sauber. MB v Lewis almost off the road goes the kick Sauber. Down the main straight we go, and DZ Racer leads by 9/10 of a second. What an absolutely exhilarating start here through turn number 1 we go, with the top 2 in the Grand Prix as side by side between 4th and 5th, and Ollie Bean is able to fend off Lewis though as we climb the hill towards the opening sector, towards the conclusion of the opening sector of the lap, as we go side by side behind between MB and Kimi, side by side through turn 6 and then through towards turn number 7 and turn number 8. Not close enough to have anything done about it as of yet. As through the hairpin we go, the race leaders are getting closer. Invade is starting to lock in here in Bahrain to make sure he can conclude and duel for the victory in Bahrain. He's got the battery on. He is gaining. He's gaining in the slipstream of DZ Racer. Looking for the inside, but not going to go for it on this occasion. Going to wait for that main straight to be able to try and make the move, as Lewis once again getting close to the rear of Ollie Bean, as Arrow starting to chip away at that time from the top 2. Arrow looking for his first podium in tier 2 in his career. It had such a, it's horrible, but such a disappointing season, an embarrassing season as such. I don't want to sound horrible. It was kind of an embarrassing season, finishing up somewhat near the rear of the championship order, but the race leaders are to do battle. Down the main straight we go towards turn 1. DZ Racer is trying to defend this one, and the top 2 are side by side, and the top 2 have changed positions, and Invade takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. As for towards turn number 1 we go once again. It is side by side contact, and round goes the Racing Bulls almost, as on the inside goes Kimi ahead of MB, and round goes the Sauber almost now. Massive wobble, massive save, and the Sauber's down into P9 after contact with Kimi Antonelli. As side by side they go. MB and Raheem. Raheem from last is up into 9th. As Kimi is our first driver to get a 3-second time penalty for track limits here in Bahrain, as Invade has already checked out, but I have not seen this. The tyres, DZ Racers on the hards and Invade is on the mediums here. The optimal strategy is the one-stop strategy, medium, hard, medium. Either way, you get a major benefit later on in the race if you start hard and can be competitive throughout the whole stint. Ollie Bean starting to close up to the rear of Arrow in the Alpine. The rear staying stable on that Alpine as of this current moment in time, but as we climb through turn number 13 and towards turn 14, they are starting to get closer. Arrow's managing his battery well as he keeps it on none momentarily. It actually allows Ollie Bean to close up here, then keeps it back onto none to recharge some extra battery around the final corner, and this could be 2 cars flying past the Alpine as we go down the main straight. We'll watch from the rear as Invades. It's the fastest lap of this race, leading by 1.7 seconds. And Arrow is being caught. He's being caught by Ollie Bean, and they're going to go side by side into turn number 1. Ollie Bean down the inside, side by side between the Aston Martin and the Alpine, but the Alpine gets get ahead on the braking. The Aston Martin bails out. There's the Racing Bulls is doing battle with Kimi, as Kimi gets a good run out of turn number 3. As on the run down towards turn number 4, there's no battery left to be able to do battle. With side by side for the podium between Ollie Bean and Arrow. Running outside goes Arrow to be able to fend off the Aston Martin, but then in the second phase on the exit, surely not a lunge on the inside at turn number 6. He doesn't go for it. That lead is already 2 seconds between the top two. The medium tyres are working a treat here for Invade in the opening phases of this Grand Prix. Just saw a really poor exit there for DZ Racer, getting clouted on the curb as now Ollie Bean will once again be looking to make that move, but surely not into turn number 11, where you don't really see a lot of moves here, just trying to fake the move, trying to put Arrow under pressure to force a mistake out of him. But through turn number 12 and running outside at turn number 12, we'll try to cut back and then dive on the inside of turn 13. Isn't brave enough to go late on the brakes as Kimi gets close to the rear of Lewis, but now on the rundown towards turn number 14 and 15. Lewis is not close enough to make a move on Ollie Bean yet, but Arrow is starting to pull away from Ollie Bean on the rundown towards turn number 1. We go once again, and Lewis fan trying to pull out all the turbulent air, trying to make sure he can cool his engine, as on the rundown towards turn number 1, we see a late lunging move from Lewis in the Racing Bulls, not close enough as of yet, and then he goes deep, and now this allows the Racing Bulls to be put under pressure from the Red Bull. As running outside, and Arrow spun around, and Arrow out of absolutely nowhere. The Alpine has spun the car, and he's into 12th place, and he was running with really good competitive paces side by side. The Racing Bulls and the Red Bull go. Was that someone else around? I thought I saw someone else around there, as Kimi Talibantinelli is looking to make a move on Lewis in the Racing Bulls. The two Red Bull machines look to do battle as well. Luckily for Arrow, he should be able to catch back up to that train, but he will be at the rear of it. Let's look how close. It was getting close momentarily between Scones and Codzilla on the rundown towards turn number 9, turn number 10. Bit a lock up there for the Alpine of Arrow, but yeah, straight away back in DRS of the train, and I think just a bit trigger happy on the exit of turn number 2, but showing decent tier 2 pace there for the Alpine. I was only on lap number 5 of 29 here, with racing plenty of action, and Ollie Bean starting to stretch his advantage away from Lewis in the Racing Bulls. And could we see a challenge? This is Lewis's first chance to be able to fight for the podium due to Arrow being spun out of the way. This now allows Lewis to be the first man to try and challenge that P3 spot. That gap is extending all the while, side by side between Craig and Dubsy, and Dubsy late on the brakes on the inside, tries it. Craig leaves a lot of room to be respectful, and now on the exit of turn number 2 through turn 3, on the run down to turn 4, and just Ferrari McLaren and almost onto the sandy side of the track, is now running outside. MB is going to try on Craig Conley. Craig Conley trying to leave the room, and contact, and into the gravel goes the Kick Sauberman, and Craig Conley is also sent tumbling down the order as well. Contact between MB and Craig, and a round. Oh my god, around goes Arrow. Round goes Arrow. Along with someone else. It's Raheem as well. Oh my god. What on earth? What on earth happened there? I just saw Arrow. Said spinning away. But I'm going to presume contact with Raheem, or Raheem was just unlucky and got caught up in it. I can't believe it. Raheem from 19th was up in the 9th as Sci-Fi and Craig go side by side, and Craig's missing half a front wing. As on this lap, by the way, the gap has been brought down by 0.6 of a second. That gap is coming down. The hard tyres are coming into their age now. And so was that side by side? It was side by side between the Red Bull and the Racing Bulls, and there is contact, and Red Bull does get through ahead of the Racing Bulls, but I do not think at all. If I was the Racing Bulls driver, I would not be happy of how the Red Bull has got through there. Just completely pushed the pass. I'm bleeding, that's nice. Side by side between MB and D Summers. He goes for the old switcheroo, but now this could allow Godzilla to maybe try and look for a move as well as we go through turn number 6 and 7. The Scones is our latest driver to pick up a penalty for track limits. Craig is going to have to convert to the 2-stop unless you can majorly save your tyres. So Raheem back to where he started. Lanky has boxed. Why? Front wing. That was a big pile up. 3 cars with front wing damage. Wow. So maybe Raheem did get caught up in it. Was that Sunze? Sunze. Lanky has just come out ahead of Sci-Fi. That's not Sci-Fi, Sunze, sorry. But that gap, which was 2.2 not so long ago, now back up to 2.8. So it's now into pit lane goes Kimmy. So this is probably a 2-stop for Kimmy as well. Evening people, welcome in SSR Halo. Hope you are doing well. You've joined us for the Tier 2 season opener here in Bahrain, number 3 on that Red Bull. Remembering the old Danny Ricciardo, side by side they went between Godzilla and D Summers, and D Summers does get the move ahead of Godzilla. As on the run down towards turn number 4 we go, and not close enough as of yet is Godzilla to try and retake the position that she had lost a couple of corners ago. So DZ Racer onto another set of softs. I mean, this is a track, right? If you do a 2-stop, you need to have pace. If you do a 1-stop, you will gain like 5 positions. You lose too much in pit lane to do a 2, right? As D Summers still just trying to close up to the rear of MB, looking to take P5 in this Grand Prix. This current moment in time as we go downhill towards turn 40 and turn 15. Godzilla looking to get close, but hasn't got the battery. D Summers has got plenty of battery as we go down the main straight, and this is the chance that D Summers has wanted. A little bit of room for Godzilla, and Scones is also on the rear from, I think, around P16. He's currently up into P8, is in pit lane. It was Lewis as under was turn number 1 we go, and D Summers is close enough to make that move as of yet, as Lewis comes in pit lane, 8 laps on those medium compounder tyres. He does. I see some proper old school people still racing here. Nice to see. Who are the old school people then? Fill me in. I think I'm going to guess Ollie Bean is. Obviously Arrow. I'm going to guess Craig too. Same as Scones. As we go downhill through turn number 6 and 7 and 8. And then we will rise the hill momentarily before turn 9 and turn number 10. Ollie Bean now running comfortably in that podium position as Sci-Fi Mega Hype from 17th is being put under pressure from SK1. Yellow flags are out for the Racing Bulls of I want to say it was Lewis actually who had caused that yellow flag, and it was Lewis who had caused that yellow flag. Yeah, definitely a spin for the Racing Bulls driver, as that gap still staying around 2.9 between the top 2 in this Grand Prix, as D Summers is still trying to hunt down. Yellow flags are out for Racing Bulls, or maybe it was Sunze. 3 seconds for Kimmy again for track limits, and Sunze, I don't really know what you're doing, my friend. So around the final corner we go. It seems to me that D Summers is just struggling really to try and keep with MB, as Godzilla, he looks like he's got more pace, but he hasn't got the batteries to be able to do anything about it. And that's why battery management is just so crucial on this current era of games. Oh my god, almost into the rear of the Sauber man, as now this could be the chance that Godzilla wanted, but I think just too far back before turn number 1 to be able to try and warrant a punishment for the very poor run through turn 2 and turn number 3. Scones as well, just hanging on to the rear of this as Sci-Fi Mega Hype getting close. Has a look, but isn't close enough to make anything of it. Yeah, a little bit of a moment there for the Mercedes, for the Mercedes driver. Apologies. So the top 10 are definitely on the one stop. The two stoppers have caught now. Well, the first two stopper has caught, but Arrow, that is because he has had 2 spins. Bearing in mind, if he didn't have the spins, he would probably be fine with Ollie Bean for third. As I'm on the run down towards turn number 11, will Arrow try and fight this one, or will Kimmy go for an audacious send? He will play patient, but this will hamper all of his 2-stop progress. But now, side by side, off the road, off the road, Kimmy went maybe in a little bit of a shock to just react to Arrow, who's trying to fight this, but just the superior grip on the newer tyres, and Kimmy is able to get by Arrow and the Alpine down into P11. But he is actually currently fighting for P11 because it's all different strategies. As gets close once again, Arrow loses a lot of time here. Now Dub Z, it's just already right on the rim. The 2 former teammates getting close, but Arrow just hasn't got the grip to fight it properly. And then towards turn number 1 we go, and Arrow is ahead of Dub Z, but Dub Z is just a matter of when he will get by. Try to take that wide line to set up the exit, and now they might be able to run side by side. Oh, almost off and onto the sand. When Dub Z, will he now go for a lunge down the inside? He wouldn't. If I was him, I would have gone for that. But now maybe he can win it on the traction race on the exit off the road. Goes Dub Z, but now this is going to cost him so much time, especially on the soft, where you need to make it picture perfect here to be able to complete properly. But Dub Z on the rundown towards turn number 9, turn number 10. Will he go for a lunge down the inside? Yes, he will. Front lock up from Arrow. Down the inside goes Dub Z with a lovely dive bomb move to take P11. A lovely move from the Ferrari man, overtaking his former teammate. And that is, it's always nice to see former teammates still going wheel to wheel. This is the pit lane, our race leader. Managed 11 laps with the medium tyres. That is a very good stint. The DZ Racer's now got to go long to make sure he can get the benefit. Where will Invade come out? Will he come out ahead of his teammate? This is the key question here. Will he get out ahead of his teammate? No, he won't, actually. Sorry, not his teammate. Will he get out ahead of Kimmy? This is going to be the one that is going to be somewhat close, but nowhere near close enough. As Kimmy is Invade is behind Sci-Fi Mega Hype, but he is ahead of Kimmy Talimantinelli. He is ahead of the 2-stop brigade, and now he knows he's got a pit stop at least to the likes of Kimmy and Dub Z. Arrow is just hanging on to the rear of Dub Z as well, as D Sommers is starting to push this hard compound tyre on the power on the exit turn number 8 towards turn number 9 and turn number 10. We go through the downhill double left with D Sommers in the Aston Martin. His teammate currently second. D Sommers currently in 4th, and the Ollie Bean is looking for a first podium in a while. If anyone could fact check it, maybe his first podium in WHF. I'm actually not too sure about this one, but I know Ollie Bean is quick as Invade gets by Sci-Fi Mega Hype. Now on the inside we go between the Haas and the Mercedes. The Mercedes is now passed by the Haas of Invade, your race leader. Not your pole sitter, but your race leader. I think your pole sitter. No, I was right. So 19 seconds. Ollie Bean into pit lane along with MB as well. So the new top 3, DZ Racer, D Sommers and Godzilla. D Sommers can now use this clean air as Ollie Bean. Surely, oh, Ollie. Mediums. What are you doing? I think that might be a throw. I think that might have been an accident here. As sorry, is that Lanky? I think getting close to the rear of Nuki Boy into turn number 1, and down the inside goes Lanky, one of our former race winners last season, side by side through 1 and then through 2, but pulls clear at turn number 2. But now Nuki Boy will get the DRS. No, he won't. Lanky will get the DRS, but he's going to continue to drain our battery, and will we see a load to the inside? No, he won't. He's maybe going to try and do audacious move around the outside, try the old switcheroo on the exit of turn number 4, on the run down towards turn 5 and turn 6, and Nuki Boy is having to stay behind the Mercedes of Lanky, as Godzilla still on the rear of D Summers, but DZ Racer only lapping really 7/10 away from his personal bests, as Sci-Fi did get 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. As what can DZ Racer do on his final stint? I'll tell you who is going to do something soon. Godzilla is surely going to do something soon, but I don't actually know if he's got the battery to be able to fight this one, because D Summers has got battery for days. Down the main straight we go. Yellow flag. Craig Conley has spun the car. Craig Conley has spun his McLaren, as Godzilla did not, in fact, did not make that move into turn number 1. SK1 is surely going to let his teammate through when he does catch. So it's currently Red Bull, Aston, Alpine, Williams, Haas, Red Bull, Ferrari, Racing Bulls, and Aston Martin. And I'm still just trying to fathom what Ollie Bean's done. Why did he go 12 laps on mediums to go to more mediums? So Invade starting to close up on his teammate as we go through the downhill double left-hander, and deep on the brakes when Invade. But when will the Haas swap around? I think the swap is going to be now, and team orders at Haas, American rules, you might want to call it, as Invade is now through, and he is rapidly hunting down that gap. Now 15.8 seconds. It was 20 seconds only a couple of laps ago. DZ Racer, if you can, you've got to up the pace to be able to try and not lose as much time as Invade. Will he be able to keep within DRS of Scones, who isn't really using the battery, probably knowing that he's not going to have to fight this one all that hard due to the difference in tyres, but he wants to make sure he is keeping ahead of SK1 as down the main straight we go, and Scones is using his battery. He is using his battery, and is he going to really defend this one? I don't think he is. I think he's just realised he's going to turn off the battery, and down the inside at turn number 1, and through goes the Haas, through turn 1, through turn 2. He is now going to pull clear unless Scones can get the run on the Haas on the run down towards turn number 4, but not close enough on this occasion. The Dub Z in for his second stop of the race. He will take those hard tyres through to the end of the Grand Prix. As we now go through turn 11, or approach turn 11, watching was the Williams driver of Scones being put under pressure from SK1 as Invade has started to check out now, getting now 13.7 seconds, another 2 seconds. Again, Arrow, where are you picking up these track limit penalties from? As then we go on the rundown towards turn number 14 and turn number 15 here in Bahrain, and Kimi is next up to try and overtake these lots. Kimi is actually going to go for the undercut here, so he's put himself in an unnecessary position really to now have to fight these like anything. He's actually having to do a strategic choice to overtake him. Feels like he couldn't get ahead of him properly. Onto the hard tyres, he will take those to the end. There's side by side between Ollie Bean and Lewis, and these two actual full position, and Ollie Bean around the outside. But Ollie Bean has got to pit again, remember, because he's done a strategy blunder. He's got medium after doing 12 laps on a set of medium compound tyres, and Ollie Bean will probably be a bit upset. If it was planned, then I would like him to explain his strategy to me. As Lanky goes with the old switcheroo on the exit of turn 4, and Nuki Boy got sent deep, and Lanky went for the old cutback on turn 4, Kimmy style, making the move up into 10th place, and that is a lovely move. Nuki looks down on the inside, but can't get close enough. Godzilla once again getting close, and Invade is now close as well. I think Invade is going to win this Grand Prix. I can't see DZ Racer catching him. I can't see DZ Racer catching him with the time he will have left when he pits. The pit window is open now. As into pit lane comes Godzilla, going for the undercut on D Summers here. As is now boisterous smart, because Invade will have to overtake Godzilla. He probably will overtake Godzilla by the time we get to turn number 4. Unless he, DC Thomas, he has got a lot of battery, to be fair to him, to use here. But is he going to fight this one? No, he's not. He is going to fight this one, defending the inside. Second and third in the Grand Prix are side by side, and right around the outside to take the place goes Invade. And that is a lovely move. Roaring around the outside, and the gap between the two race leaders, which was 20 seconds a couple of laps ago, is now only 9.3 seconds. Invade set to take his first win of the season, is set to invade the top of the standings come what the end of the season opener here in Bahrain, as D Summers has already dropped a second here, but should get DRS. No, he shouldn't. Okay. So where has Godzilla come? Godzilla has come out with a lot of clean air, so that will be lovely jubbly for him. They have actually been undercut by MB by 8 seconds. Wow. Wow. What could have been for Ollie Bean too, by the way? I feel so bad for Ollie Bean. It could have been a podium. It should have been a podium, really. I think he would have undercut DZ Racer, as here he goes into the box. 17 laps he did on his set of the hard compound tyres, as now surely will be a set of the medium tyres, which it will be as we go onto the medium compound tyres. Invade will lead, and by the time he's even on pit exit, it will be a Haas 1-2 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Through goes Scones as well. Ahead, through goes Ollie Bean as well. As Ollie Bean looking to make a move on Scones ever so quickly to make this now two-stop strategy work, as Lewis fan has legitimately undercut DZ Racer. So DZ Racer will have to make that move. We're going to focus on Ollie Bean now on the rundown towards turn number 4. Ollie Bean is gaining. Is he going to make the lunge around the outside? Surely not, right around the outside to take third place in the Grand Prix. Side by side on using the battery. Side by side through 5. Side by side through 6. Scones goes deep on the brakes, fending off the Aston Martin. That's lovely defensive driving by Scones, but then they remain side by side through turn number 8. Ollie Bean going to try right around the outside at turn number 8. And the camera angle has done that phenomenal justice. What a move by Ollie Bean. What a camera shot by the TV directors. That is phenomenal racing between the Williams and the Aston Martin, as Lewis almost spinning the car on the exit of turn number 10 on lap 18 of 29. So that gap, 14 seconds. He needs over a second a lap, as there are yellow flags out. And is that Godzilla? No, it's not. It is Arrow. So down the main straight we go, and look at that sight of an empty main straight. Now you'll see his teammate just in the background, but he will now pull into the pit lane. So, and then you see the next car of Ollie Bean. So Ollie Bean will go up into second place. Lewis will be up into third, but for how long? Soon say 3 seconds on track limits, and say third and fourth could do battle when towards turn number 1. And DZ Racers surely not going to go right around the outside at turn number 1, really deep on the brakes, but then has it side by side for turn 2, picks up a 3 second for track limits, and almost contact then as the Racing Bulls looks to chop off the Sauber, and the Sauber's now got by DZ Racer, and DZ Racer's now driving the 5th, and now maybe going to try for the old cutback on the pair of them as they go side by side, not watching where the Red Bull is going, as DZ Racer is now down into 5th place. Instead of gaining a place, he's lost 1 place. Arguably lost 2 places there. As Lewis got elbows out, DZ Racer should be able to get that warning removed because it was in combat with another car. It's on the rundown towards turn number 10 we go. Oh, a little bit of a lock-up there for the Racing Bulls, and DZ Racer, his chances of victory are being hampered. That gap now 16 seconds, which was only 14 and a bit seconds, so he needs a miracle really now to be able to try and win this Grand Prix here. As Lewis is all over the shop on these 10 lap on hard compound tyres. They look horrible already, especially the front, especially the rear left actually. Look at that. As now, Will Lewis fan hasn't got a lot of battery left. DZ Racer has, as we go through the final corner on the racetrack. DZ Racer, smooth rotation through the final corner. Will he be able to make the move as Lewis now does come into pit lane? And now MB is getting close to the rear. DZ Racer will have to use his battery to try and get back in that DRS, which he will. But then it asks the question as Summers sets a brand new fastest lap of this race. DC Summers now annihilating himself into contention here. Sorry, not annihilating, emerging himself into contention here in Bahrain for maybe a podium position here. Who knows? As DZ Racer and MB are getting close once again, and these two, Godzilla, still stuck behind DC Summers. No, D Summers, not DC Summers. As through the hairpin at turn the mail, DC Racer is just struggling on those brakes. I love the helmet. By the way, do you like my Red Bull on board? Major lockup for DZ Racer through turn number 10. I think I might be able to show you all my onboards. We haven't had any retirements yet as well, which I think is lovely. This is now a 3-car fight for P. I don't know what I'm doing. This is now a 3-car fight for P2 in the Grand Prix, but Ollie Bean has got to pit again. MB and DZ Racer do not. So add like 20 or so. You can quite like 10th. Wow. When does Ollie Bean opt to box though? MB is draining his battery. DZ Racer is draining his battery. MB has turned his battery off because he is gaining. He is gaining in the slipstream of Ollie Bean into turn number 1, and not close enough yet. But I think this Grand Prix is set to be won by Invade unless there's a puncture for the Haas driver as his teammate. So it's the fastest up in this Grand Prix, and they're side by side. Almost tried to chop across the inside of the Sauber there, but down on the inside goes the kick Sauber. Man, we've got God, sorry. Side by side between the Sauber and the Aston Martin, and Ollie Bean has got to concede the place there. As DZ Racer goes off the road, that could be a track limit warning, and into the rear! Into the rear of the Aston Martin goes the Red Bull driver, and Ollie Bean being punted in the rear by DZ Racer. That caught me so off guard. They're so late on the brake, side by side, more contact there. And if the contact model was realistic, then DZ Racer would have been spun around because of the contact between the front right and the rear left. Well, that reminds me of when Arrow was absolutely dying on the Tier 1 race start. When I sent it on the inside, I just started coughing out of nowhere. So, DZ Racer finally should be able to make this move for 2nd place. It has taken him way too long here to make the move. We'll watch from the rear of the Kick Sauber. On the inside goes the Red Bull driver, and finally into 2nd place in the race. It has been coming for a long, long while, but the Red Bull driver is finally through into 2nd place in the race. It has taken him an age, but the age has finally stopped. It can now be the hunt. Let the hunt begin. But is it too little too late for the Red Bull? But MB, how well can you stick with DZ Racer? It's looking pretty good at the minute here. So the Aston Martin crew, if Ollie Bean had actually chosen the right tyres, it could be literally, Aston could be the best scoring team. No, sorry, Aston could be one of the best scoring teams. Haas are looking the best here. at this current moment in time. Mercedes not looking great. McLaren looking horrendous. Williams here. Racing Bulls here. Alpine with Godzilla, yeah, with arrow points still, so yeah, fine. As MB has almost lost DRS to the rear of the Z Racer. He will turn that battery on. We can watch from the rear now. And if the DRS has been lost, then I think I'm going to go and watch another battle, which it has. But I think Ollie Bean has actually recalled that DRS. But will he kill into the pit lane soon? That is the question. Probably this lap, surely. No. I'm missing something here. I'm not. He has to pit again. Godzilla has fallen out of DRS, but has actually got it still. But down the main straight we go. Has he got it? Oh, I think he just got it. As Dub Z will be getting close to the rear of Sci-Fi Mega Hype, who has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So his result, where he finishes on track, will cost him a lot. As Arrow and Lanky do go side by side. We'll actually now turn to that battle. Look at this, 3 car squabbling within a matter of meters. 3 abreast down the main straight. Lanky's on the inside. And look at this, squeezed to the wall. That reminds you of something. Remember last season, the Tier 1 in Bahrain, side by side. Alpine, Sauber, Mercedes. But Mercedes last season in Tier 1, it was Mercedes on the inside. But now on the rundown towards turn number 4, yellow flags are out. Into the wall goes the Alpine. Side by side, these two will remain side by side between the Mercedes and the Kick Sauber. Side by side through 5, through 6. The Alpine is in the wall and the Sauber is behind and the Mercedes is ahead. But on the run now towards turn number 8, Yuki Boy is going to look around the outside. Then maybe try the old switcheroo on the exit of turn number 8. On the run down towards turn number 9, turn number 10, Yuki Boy finally backs out of it and Arrow is now last. Boy, does that remind you of something. If you remember back to last season, the final lap duel between Cookie and the Sev. The Sev squeezed against the barrier down the pit straight towards turn number 1 by the 5-time WHF champion of Cookie, who is looking to take his 6th, I believe, this season. As into pit lane, Ollie Bean finally comes. Softs, which is, yeah, I agree, fair enough. Should go the way. So he will come out, I think, behind Scones here. I think he's... Oh, my God. Start braking us side by side. I'll press the wrong way. Buttons are going the wrong way. It's Dub Z. Look how close he's getting. Just completely cuts the inside of turn. Oh, my God. He's like trying to swipe him. On the inside is now Scones is getting close, and Dub Z as he picks up a 3-second for track limit. Scones goes really deep on the brakes here as the Racing Bulls of Lewis looks to try and make a move on Sci-Fi and Mega Hype as Nuki Boy and Lanky do swap positions as the once again. But now this is our squabble to watch. This is our squabble to watch between Mercedes Racing Bulls, Ferrari, Williams and Aston Martin. 5 different teams fighting for position here. The only one who hasn't got a penalty is Ollie Bean. So MB promoted to the podium as Arrow is our first and singular retiree in this Bahrain Grand Prix so far. As a side by side and around the outside goes Lewis with a lovely manoeuvre. Around the outside to the inside as Ollie Bean in the background as well. Looking to make a move as well. Scones does concede that place. And we've seen 2 moves in a matter of meters between Lewis and Sci-Fi and Ollie Bean and Ollie Bean and Scones and Dub Z will be thinking, I want to get involved here. Let me in. Side by side. Oh no! What's happened there? Ollie Bean went late on the brakes and made contact with the side pod of Dub Z. Late on the brakes went the Aston Martin, and Ollie Bean, who was staring at P8, is now going to finish very low in the order. Sci-Fi Mega Hype down the inside, side by side. More contact, tyre hooking between the Mercedes and the Racing Bulls as we now climb the hill. And Lewis fan on the 5-lap old hard tyres is finally clear. And Sci-Fi Mega Hype will have to concede that place as Scones is ahead of Dub Z. Ollie Bean will probably be able to catch back up again. Sci-Fi picks up a 3-second for track limits here. Nuki Boy and Lanky dueling away once more. Yellow flags around. Dub Z's in the wall. And there's your safety car. Just as Arrow retires, Dub Z in the wall. Oh, can I... hard in the barriers at the exit of turn 7. Soft, surely. It's the only answer. Soft tyres. Let the battle in Bahrain recommence for the lead. Oh. Oh. DZ Racer continuing on with rather the track position. These Summers is in pit lane. Godzilla in pit lane. Kimi Talimantinelli's going to continue. Red Bull rolling the dice. Well, oh, no, what are you doing? Why have you overtaken it? Oh my god! Oh my word, DZ Racer. You lucky sod. Raheem. So if I have a look at penalties here. 1, 2. So let's think about this. The provisional top 3 is Invade, MB, and Sommers. Right? I think it's a bottle that DZ Racer didn't pit. I know DZ Racer and Kimi are good friends, so obviously I think they're in VC together actually. So I think they will want to work together. DZ Racer is gonna say when he goes. So the goal here for Red Bull is to get Kimi ahead of Invade, and then just try and back up the field here. We'll go racing next lap. We'll have 2 laps remaining. Red Bull have the advantage. Haas have got the faster, fresher tyres, and we will have 2 laps of racing to decide the season opener in the final season of the ground effect era. I want to have a... What are you doing? Oh my god. Right, so I want to have a look quickly. What the hell happened here? Has he got a warning since? If he has, then it's kind of finished. No, he hasn't. So if DZ Racer, he can get his penalty removed, I would say. Me as personally assured, I think he can get it removed. He got a warning while in combat, leaving space. It's fine, right? I did the same in STB and I got my pens removed. Or my warnings removed, I should say. So Asunze has come into pit lane. They've got to get a move on here. Lanky, speed up please. Sci-Fi, why didn't you fucking pit? Sorry. So, safety car will be in this lap. Safety car in this lap, you can tell because the lights. You can look at the top of the car. There's the light flashing, right? But the 2 on the side are not flashing. So that means safety car, they'll acknowledge the drivers that it is in this lap. All the lights will go out though when it is eventually going to come in. Half the field's not going to catch up here, by the way. Nuki, Craig, Lanky, Raheem, Sunset. I don't think they'll catch. Well, no, I think Nuki will. Craig and Lanky might just. There you go. The lights go out on the safety car. Hello, Cindy. How are you doing? You've joined us here for the final 2 laps of racing. So, teams have split strategies. Teams have gone the same strategies here. We watch from the rear. Lanky, he will have to hope. DZ Racer is going as quick as he can here. He doesn't want to let anyone else catch up here. I don't know what Consider is doing. He will now back the field up. When will DZ Racer put the foot to the floor? We have got 2 laps of racing to decide the Bahrain Grand Prix. Red Bull have got the advantage. And Haas has got the faster, fresher tyres, but the plan for Red Bull is on the way. Towards turn number 1 we go, and Kimi Dalivantinelli is gaining. He's going on the inside, and the Red Bull is going to do battle with the Haas, and the Red Bull late on the brakes. Kimi on the inside, side by side with Invade. Can he get the move? No, he can't. Now MB will try and get the move. Raheem was a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane, as now we climb the hill towards turn number 4, and DZ Racer continues to lead this Grand Prix. Invade getting close, but not close enough on the outside. Kimi late on the brakes to keep the place on MB. Now Summers has all contact between the top 2, and it through goes MB, side by side with Summers. Almost off the road goes Summers. Summers taking evasive action off the road. Contact between Invade and DZ Racer, and Invade's up in the 3rd, and MB up into MB down to 3rd. MB up into 2nd, Invade down to 3rd. As Kimi Dalivantinelli now leads the Grand Prix. On the inside goes Invade, side by side. Invade takes the lead of the race. Incredible. Diving on the inside, the double move, the double bubble. Invade takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix with 1 and a bit to go, as MB and Summers going side by side for net 2nd in the Grand Prix, for 3rd on the road, as side by side they did go, and MB keeps the place. Godzilla's fighting for a podium. The pole sitters down into 6th. SK is on the rear now of DZ Racers. DZ Racers now under pressure from the Haas in towards the final corner. On the inside goes the Haas, not close enough. Wide goes Summers. And now this is the start as we go onto the final lap of this race. And MB is going to set off to Invade. As on the inside, MB will go. He's got the move. DC Summers as well is on the inside. Oh! Almost contact between the rear of the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Side by side they go round the outside. What's going on here in Bahrain? Almost contact, sliding away off the road goes Kimi. MB goes through, rejoining the track. That's all. No! Into the wall goes Godzilla, and through goes MB, and DZ Racers suddenly back up in the 4. It's going to be 2 Hasses on the podium. It is an absolute brawl. It's a demolition derby here in the final laps in Tier 2. DZ Racer can now pull away from the cars behind, and Invade has absolutely checked out. Kimi still on the podium somehow, as SK1 on the final lap has made moves. He's now he's on the podium after penalties are going to be applied, as on the rundown towards the final couple of corners. Yellow flags are out for Raheem, who has just exited the pit lane. Side by side between this. It's an absolute brawl here in Bahrain, and Craig Conley out of nowhere up into 8th, down into 9th. Through goes Lanky in the Mercedes, and up into 7th. Rally outside. Oh my word, what a move by the Mercedes, past the Red Bull, up into 7th place. But you've now got to look to the front. You've got to look to the man which has kept his cool head. He had contact. He's been in the war tracks. He's been in the duels. But in the Kingdom of Bahrain, it's a perfect start. It's P1 for Haas. Invade wins the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of MB. SK1 makes it 2 Hasses on the podium. Haas and Sauber, you are having a wonderful start to the season. MB takes 2nd, Yuki takes 4th, Lanky, what a recovery in P5. Craig Conley as well in P6, Godzilla in 7th. These Summers, who had the podium set, finishes in 8th. DZ Racer in 9th, Repulsor to Kimi in 10th, Lewis in 11th, Scones in 12th, Ollie Bean in 13th, Sunze in 14th, Sci-Fi Mega Hype in 15th, from Raheem will round off the order. But what a duel in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Invade from MB and SK. Haas and Sauber having a wonder show. And Haas, I've got 2 drivers in this title fight like they did last season with Code Matic and Quincy. What a Grand Prix. What a battle. It is victory for Invade. Thank you, Jason Awesome Gaming, for the raid. Was the one viewer. Hope you're doing well. Hope your stream went well. But what a race! What a battle in Bahrain! That is incredible. Considering I got early wing damage, I'll take. Yeah, you should take that, Lanky. I am proud of you. What a duel in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and all you that have joined for the remaining laps, you joined at the perfect time. Hello, Jason. Hope you are doing well. All of you that have joined, you joined at the perfect time. That was a spectacle at the end of the Grand Prix. What a duel in Bahrain. And I can't wait to see more, if that's what we're going to get for another 11 races in this season. Onto the podium comes the Haas driver, dancing away. He can smile as he knows he is the new Tier 2 Championship leader. 2 British drivers on the podium along with a German. And you can roll on the celebrations that will go deep into the night after an absolute chaotic Bahrain Grand Prix. What a battle, what a duel, what a race, what a victory for the Haas crew, who will spray the champagne and will be over the moon to have come away with a double podium for a race which looks like only like 1st and 8th. They're coming away with 2 cars on that podium, almost maximum points. They're scoring, I think, 45 points. What a race. What a duel. What a spectacle. I wasn't able to get results. I'm sorry, Arrow. I was too busy on the podium. But, oh my word. What a race. What a race. I cannot believe that. DZ Racer, thank you for crashing. That has given us all some phenomenal entertainment. What a duel in the Kingdom of Bahrain. That was spectacular. Oh my god. Right. We are raiding Continent's esports team. So, yeah, I will see you all for the next one. Ciao, adios. I am done. My name is Mario Harris. You've joined me for Tier 2, Round 1 in Bahrain. Let's continue with this show on the road, shall we? Bye for now.